Good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, our board president is unwell tonight, so I will be facilitating the meeting, and we can begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The mission of the Chatham Central School District is to provide students an education that nurtures intellectual curiosity and focuses on academic and cultural foundations. Our students will graduate with knowledge, problem-solving abilities, and character needed to participate ethically, adapt, succeed, and contribute in their future educational, career, and community endeavors. Can I have a motion for an approval of the present agenda?
Motion.
Does anyone have any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? So moved. We're going to move into our public comment. This is our opportunity to hear any community wants to step forward. If you want to speak, please sign in and. Okay. Okay, then we'll go right into board member comment. Do any of our board members have anything to say?
I just want to talk a moment about the NYSBA business meeting that is being held next week. Each school gets to have a delegate, and at that meeting they do several different things that I'm going to explain briefly. Because no one else was taken by that Dunkin' Donuts certificate that they give out in appreciation, I said I would do this again. So at this meeting, there is a resolution committee that submits resolutions to the delegates. And again, each school gets one vote. It's from all over New York State. And they recommend sometimes changes to the bylaws. They recommend sunset proposals for different resolutions that have passed the prime date period. They are not going to be in existence any longer. And they're going to do new resolutions, some of which they recommend, some that they don't. It's good to keep in mind that the fact that this does not make these resolutions into any kind of law. It simply gives NYSBA information so that they can either support, not support, or remain neutral on the different resolutions that can be turned into laws. So last year I did this. It was very interesting. It is true that the delegates from Long Island and the Southern Tier tend to dominate both in terms of the resolutions that they propose and also the vote. However, last year I did speak a bit and it was very interesting and very informative. So that will be next week. Now for board members, if you would for me, please, you can look at your information from NYSBA and you will see this, the 2025 proposed bylaw amendments and resolutions. I printed it out because I work better that way. You don't need to. If you would read through them, and if there are any that you strongly support or any that you are strongly in opposition to, if you would just shoot me an email and let me know, because I will try to guide my vote in accordance with what Chatham recommends. If I don't hear on one, then I usually would go with what NYSBA is recommending, the resolution team, but I have no problem at times going with what I think Chatham would want to do. So if you could do that and get those to me by Monday, the meeting is on Wednesday, and I will do the prep work. They have a prep seminar on Tuesday. I will do that again too. And also for any of the administrators that have a thought on them, one thing that is being recommended, I didn't read them all this year, is that some thought be given to providing tax exemptions for people who are school board members, the same way they do for people who are firefighters or work in the ambulance field. It's interesting. The people was just amazing. The amount of absolute joy that people took in doing it. Parents, kids, a lot of fun.
I agree. I got to participate a little bit. I have a senior, had to walk out on the field with him. It was a really great night. The score, not so much, but the spirit was still wonderful, and yes, it was a great, the mums are always a big hit. Everybody loved them. I really appreciated the fact that we opened that up to the Ichabod component of our Chatham Ichabod football team, and they were happy, and the parents were, pleased to be able to do that for their students, and they were on our campus, and they were a part of it too, and I really, really liked that. That was great. That's all I had to say. Okay, we will move on to our building and departments reports. We have an audit report to discuss. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you. For those of you that I have not met, my name is Amy Pedrick. I'm a partner with Weston Company, which is the highest opinion we give as a profession and what Chatham has received in the past. The three other opinions we issue is our report on internal controls over financial reporting and clients. So we're not an internal auditor. We're not looking at all of your controls. But when we do the audit and we're looking at the procedures that the business office has and the controls that they have, we do have to look at them specifically over financial reporting. And here we had no findings, no significant deficiencies, no material weaknesses to know. Everything, all the procedures that the business office has, they're working well. Pat gives us everything well in advance, which allows our audit to kind of be very efficient. We're able to get a lot done in advance of coming out in the field, and then we come out 2 different times during the year and go through and test balances, look at certain transactions, and everything is always very clean, no issues. So no findings with that opinion. Of these funds, they are on a cash basis. So what happens is when the money comes in, it's a revenue. When the check gets cut, it's an expense. Here we have a qualification to the opinion, but it's not specific to Chatham. We audit 28 school districts and 6 folks, and they all have it. And all it's saying is the audit trail for us starts at the point of collection of the funds. So we're auditing the point of deposit, not the point of collection. So we're going to audit the revenue trail starting at the bank deposit. These funds have a lot of different extra requirements. So New York State sees extra classroom in the clubs as a way to teach fiscal responsibility to students. So the students have to, as a part of their fundraising, pay sales tax, charge sales tax, do profit and losses on those fundraisers. So when we're testing these, we're not just testing that the balance or the dollar amount is correct. We're making sure that you're in compliance with all those rules. And you guys do a great job. Your extra classroom funds are in great shape. And so we had no comments associated with that. And then the piece that's actually not in your financial is you don't have a management letter comment. So sometimes when we do audits, we may see things that don't rise to a level of a finding, but are ways to improve controls and efficiencies within the business office, within the district. Here we have none of those items. As I said in the beginning, everything is working well, what we're looking at. So you guys do a really great job of getting your books and records.
Yeah, and in addition to that, I know you do this stuff all year. Mike's had extra duty get through the audit for the last couple of months. His whole office really probably collecting evidence. So cheers. And we always have we typically have good audits.
Mm-hmm.
We always have good audits.
Yes.
This year was a standout because there was not even any immaterial findings to discuss, really. Sometimes we have immaterial findings to discuss. Quick note, of course, we're continuing to struggle with this.
Thanking Mike and Pat. This is an exceptional audit, and it's pretty impressive. And it's a testament to both of your leadership and your hard work. So thank you both.
Yes.
We really appreciate it.
Will be our annual powder puff game between each class, and all of our class officers have finally been elected, save the sophomore class, which is still going on.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? All right, thank you, Emma. Appreciate it. Oh, when is that?
I believe it's November 2nd.
Yeah,
Is that right?
a couple weeks.
Yeah. Is that right? November 2nd, right? Do I have that right?
All right, thank you.
So, Marianne, we did not approve the audit. So if you go back.
Oh,
to
was
that.
there? Oh, no,
Yeah,
I see
there's a
it. Okay.
recommended action.
Yep, I see it.
If you can
We're gonna go
mind-
back.
If you don't mind going back.
Of course. R25, be it resolved that the Board of Education accept the independent audit report for the year ended June 30th, 2025, as submitted by Weston Company's CPA PC. Can I have a motion?
Motion?
All in favor? Any opposed? So moved. When happened, you got to keep scrolling down to see. Okay. All right, now we're going to updates from the superintendent.
All right, good evening, everyone. Project update. So cabinets galore. So over 600 cabinets have been installed in our high school, right? Never did I think cabinets would be such a challenge. But we are making really good progress. We made some really good progress since the last 2 weeks. All of the cabinets are installed at this point. As all the cabinets came in, it was found that a couple of them were incorrectly ordered by the manufacturer. So some of them have to be reordered. So there are some cabinets missing in different spaces, but those will be put in at another time. But at this point, all of our classroom teachers, our science and art and our tech teachers are unpacking and setting up and getting things situated and organized with the goal of being absolutely ready for open house coming up next week. Contractors are now starting to work on the punch list items. We have a list of things that they need to go back to. We're going to continue working on that punch list items for quite some time. The tech lab is close to being ready for student use. So at this point, it's really unpacking. The wood floor looks great. The epoxy floor will be completed in December. There's a smell to that, so we didn't want to do that now. The machinery is all hooked up and in and ready to go for the most part. So things are really moving along really smoothly. We're hoping by the end of this week that we'll be able to use it fully. The bathrooms are fully tiled. Right now they're working on the fixtures. So those bathrooms will be up and running before you know it. So things are progressing well. A lot has gotten done. Lettering on it when you close it, so kind of red and black. So we're excited. So we're already starting to get ready for phase 3. We'll be here before you know it. So the next thing I wanted to just talk about was the New York State Portrait of a Graduate. And I put on all the board members. Actually, I need one for you, Andrew. You got one? Okay, good. So the New York State Portrait of a Graduate, I wanted to just discuss this a little bit. This document here is the big focus of the New York State Department of Education. Terry and I went to a state conference last week, and this really was the be-all end-all about what New York State education is going to be looking like in the future. Accountability is going to be measured by this. We've heard about changes in graduation requirements. Those graduation requirements and those pathways are going to be geared towards this. The state's going to be developing rubrics that we can assess students based on this as well. So this is something that we are really looking at as a district, and we are really looking to see how we can best utilize this as a district. This has already been adopted by the regions. This year is they call it kind of just learning and getting it ready and getting it prepared, to really embed into everything that you do in your school. Now, the thing about this, if you go to the next page of that packet that I gave you, and really planning and utilizing
in terms of educational goals. So is this fully created in New York State, or is there something else that's a resource to be looked at?
So this is the New York State came up with a committee back in 2019. Okay. And what was that committee called, Terry? Blue Ribbon Committee. Yeah. Blue Ribbon Commission. You might have heard of that before. I think I talked about it. Sal might have talked about it. All right. Just have a couple other little, any other questions on that? So another, as you all know, one of our district priorities is PD. I just wanted to share that with you. Dawn and I will present back at our next meeting about what we learned. That's all I have.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, academic update. Terry?
Yes, good evening. I have 3 things to share. The first one is, this kind of speaks to what Andrew just shared about Portrait of a Graduate. There's an initiative called Redefining Ready, and Andrew and I are a part of this group. One thing, I think, Matt, to your question, the facilitator for this group is the Superintendent Kiksaki Athens, who was involved with AASA's Redefining Ready nationally. So we had our first meeting today, and he was referencing other states. So having that insight and those resources hopefully will be helpful as we move along. But what this cohort is, it's a New York State-based group of school districts who are committed to advancing, redefining ready, but also meshing that with Portrait of a Graduate. So really looking at what we're doing as a district, but then hearing from all of these other districts around the state about what are you doing, or how do you make sense of this, or what are your thoughts on it? It's a pretty exciting opportunity. The structure of it is monthly virtual meetings, and those are about hour and 15 minutes. There's one every month. Like I said, the first one was today. They're going, which is always a good thing. And the last thing I have is last Board of Ed meeting, I shared with you the what's so cool about manufacturing, and how that is, we're working with the Center of Economic Growth and then local business and everything exciting about that. I want to just share another similar kind of event. So this is something we did last year, but I wanted to share it again and say we're bringing it back. Both what's so cool about manufacturing and what I'm going to share right now. This, in collaboration with.
That's a senior.
That helps.
Anybody want to say what you learned about that and what the discussion was? Come on. So she went through with you.
Okay, great.
And some of you registered?
Pre-registered, right?
Pre-registered?
Yeah,
Good.
that's good. If we're doing it here,
Were you
then that's
going to
great.
say something? Okay, great.
Excellent.
That's awesome. Good.
Okay.
Great.
Happy to hear
I'll
that.
stop asking about that then, because it's happening.
Yeah.
But we did have the Board of Elections coming in sometimes.
And I am new to the team. On Friday, part of what I oversee is the AED coordination. This Friday, Ron Annis from Top Form here in Chatham is coming to do an AED first aid training for staff. I invited a whole bunch of staff, and we have about 20 that are coming that day. And it ranges from staff from our public library, because we have an AED over there now, from the bus garage, chaperones for the after school events. It's always nice to, have that. And people were very appreciative and very interested in getting this training. So Ron will be coming on Friday, and we'll have, it's an hour and a half training here at the middle school. And I'm looking forward to that. And that'll be something we'll offer annually to anyone who wants to get it. The AED training, the AED device is inherently very, easy to manipulate and to follow, but it's always nice to have, that systematic training on that.
And this is part of that plan that we talked about, Desha's Law, that you approved, I think 2 meetings ago. So it's even though our nurses always did an overview of the AED, as a district, we have to have a formal training yearly now for it. So
And
I appreciate you putting this together.
Thank you. And Ron is also going to be working with our nurses later that day to do their recertification and CPR. They have some homework that they're working on now ahead of time, and they'll do the skills test to get recertified on Friday. On November 4th, talking with Terry for the professional development day that we're having here, it is really important to have that voice, that special education voice in there. So I'm going to be doing a training for gen ed staff on what is an IEP, what are these parts. Special ed is just a bowl of alphabet soup. We throw around all these acronyms and all these terms, but oftentimes people really don't know what that means or what does that look like in my classroom. So I'm really excited, and thank you. I'm going to be doing a session on that day as well.
To have 5 in one school. We took one of those and put that in the bus garage. So all buildings now have 4. The bus garage has 1, and purchased 1 for the library. So we're in good shape with the AEDs. But yeah, I will check on the Narcan to see what the policy is on that and how all that would work for the health department.
Great.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. All right. Michael, operational update.
Just a couple items. First, Andrew spoke about the capital project. So it is nice we're near the finish line. And it is actually, the building looks wonderful. You know, things that are done, it's just so much better. Such a nice to have an updated facility. So it's been a challenge, but in the end, you know, the end product is wonderful. And I'm happy we're started and pushing to get ordering done for next year, so we can try to have a little smoother summer next year, hopefully. The other piece.
Okay, then we're going to move on to the board committee reports. Facilities committee. Is there anything extra to add?
So that was, Steve was going to talk about that, but he was unable to be here today. So we just wanted to mention that Steve has been joining our project weekly committee on Wednesdays as part of the facilities member. So I wanted to let the boards know. And we were going to get his perspective on those meetings as well, because he's representing you as the board. But just so you know, he's been attending those. We meet every Wednesday. All of the contractors come, so plumbing, electricians, you know, the Gallo project manager, architect, so that everyone comes in a room and they have a meeting every Wednesday. And then of course, Mike and I and Ethan is there, and now Steve has joined us the past couple of weeks. So just wanted to make sure the board understood that. It's not really a facilities.
It doesn't say on the fundraiser form. I think this is in relationship to a trip. Is that right?
Correct. Later on, you will see the approval for the overnight trip. That's later on in the agenda.
So the trip item here in the agenda and the document attached, it says April 4 to 8th, 2025. I think those dates are wrong.
It's the Easter break.
Should be 26.
2026.
Should be 26.
Okay.
If it says 25, it should be 26.
So there's an error.
Okay. So when you adopt that, let's adopt it with the change.
Okay.
I didn't notice that.
That was it.
That was it?
Modified team played at April Park on Thursday, and there were so many people there, both from, you know, April Park had their people, but Chatham Ichabod had more spectators than April Park did. It was really awesome. Yeah.
That's great. Nice. All right, no one else? Okay. So we do see a need to go into executive session. Be it resolved, the Board of Education enter executive session to discuss the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. Can I have a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so we need a motion to appoint Andrew Court as our district clerk pro tem. Can I have a motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And we do not anticipate returning to open session, so have a good night, everyone. Thank you for coming.